I wish you all the best, and everything is going to go well and smooth. And like we all know, my name remains Oluwatayo Yanodola Jumoke, and today we're going to be talking about recognizing debt traps that can be problematic during economic crisis. Oh, of course, we all see how this week we all witness how the inflow, the flow in the markets of how the dollars and the naira were, and I could say all thanks to our government, we've been able to have that regulation where there's now calmness and things are getting a bit like they are getting themselves back. So we're grateful to God for that. And so let's talk about debt traps. Let's talk about how you can recognize them. Like the way this economy is right now, the whole economic crisis, the inflation, it's more like a plan everybody did not have in their record book or in their to-do list. We never saw it coming, never planned for it. It just came out of nowhere. Back in 2023 we all had a new year resolution, how we want 2024 to look like, and boom, from nowhere the amount you were getting, goods, commodities, back in 2023 became different in 2024. By double, and most of us did not even plan for that double, and the income still remained the same. So we know how tough it can be, and this actually affects everybody, even individuals, businesses, and even the rich people. There's nobody that economic crisis is not going to touch one way or the other. It's affecting the general public. And during this time, it's important for one of us, or for all of us, for every one of us to plan and prepare. You just have to plan. It's like an impromptu planning. Of course, we just have to plan. And we saw the way every one of us was planning on, oh, you have to buy goods in excess, or you have to buy goods advance, because that the time you'll be going to the markets the next time is definitely another price you are meeting. So everybody was start to plan, and just to avoid any worsening situation that might come up. But unfortunately, for those that were already struggling with debts, this period can be way more challenging, because one of the critical aspects when it comes to recognizing debt traps is a situation whereby your debt burden becomes unsustainable, and it's hindering you with the ability to navigate the economic hardship. The debt just become unsustainable. Your income cannot even pay off the debt, and you still have other bills to maintain. So going forward, first let's define what does debt traps means. Now, a debt trap is a situation where your debt payments becomes unmanageable. That means you have a lot, let's say due to accumulated interest, you have a lot, you're owing a sum of 1 million, and you are earning 300,000. So tell me, how do you want to pay? And you have other bills to maintain, accommodation, feeding, transport, and the likes like that. So it becomes too much. At the end of the day, you still now have to start using debts to pay debts. Like you now borrow me more money. When I collect salary, I'll pay back. It's now end up into another debt. You're living debt into debt, debt into debt. So that is just a simple definition of what debt means. And also looking at the common traps. What are the common debt traps? Now, the common debt traps, we have the high interest rate debt trap. Now, what do I mean by that? That means there's like accumulated interest. This money keeps coming on it. You've not even been able to pay the principal. Now you're having each sum of interest accumulated to it, and this can go on credit card, payday loans, name the type of debts, and it can also make it so worse that you will not even be able to pay both the principal and the interest. That means the debt is like really accumulated, and that is you're already into debt, and it's a debt trap. That's high interest rate debt. It's actually a debt trap. Now we have another point to share is multiple debts. That means you're juggling between debts. I said it earlier on. Now you used debt A, you borrow money from A to pay debt B. Now you are now going to borrow from C to pay debt A. Now you are juggling in between debts. It's actually another form of debt trap that you're going to find yourself, which is Now imagine your income is not even below all these debts you're borrowing, because when you borrow this money or these loans from wherever you're going to borrow, you have it at the back of your mind that you have to pay interest. Now paying interest is another it's another stress entirely, because you've not even gotten the actual money and you still have to pay an interest on that money that you borrowed, and you still have other things to manage to pay. So multiple debts is another form of debt trap, and also insufficient income. These are the common debt traps I'm going to talk about today. Now, what do I mean by insufficient income? We all see how the price of commodity is. There are some people that a bag of sugar, their salary cannot even stand a bag of sugar. I think as of last week I was seeing a friend posting a bag of sugar for 90,000. Some people's salary is not even up to that. Now imagine somebody who cannot even sustain himself. Your income is extremely low to the price of commodity at now. It's actually way out of hand, and that is another form of debt trap. Now, looking at how economic crisis, how you can accelerate your debt trap. What are the things that, factors during this economic hardship? There are several factors attached to it. Now we have job loss. Probably somebody lost their job. There's income reduction. That means maybe the person did something that was wrong, and then it got sanctioned, and then punishment was okay. They are deducting your income instead of sacking you. These are other factors that can, during hardship, it's proper to happen. Then increased living cost. We all are experiencing that right now. I think a derica of rice is around 1,008 in some areas, even more than that. Now imagine and let's say it's a family of 7, your children, your wife, your husband, your grandma, your mother, and everything, and let's say they eat, that one derica is not enough. You know how much you're going to buy, and your income is just 70,000. So it's a lot to go through. Now let's talk about warning signs. What are these warning signs that you will know? Once you see, you already know that, oh, I'm already in this debt. These are the warning signs. Now, struggling to make minimum payment. Let's say you are paying 50,000 naira as a loan out of your 150,000. Let's just give that as an example, and you can't even afford that 50,000 naira because the cost of living increase. Let's say you need to stock, you need to pay school fees, you need to do transportation. Let's say your transportation is like 40k in a month. Out of 150, your transportation is 40k. You need to drop over close to, like, let's say 70,000 for feeding allowance in the house. My dear brother, 120 is gone, and you're having 150, and you have a debt that you're paying every month is 50,000, and you've not even paid electricity, you've not even paid for water, you've not even do your personal saving. Now just know that if that keep going like consistently, you couldn't meet up with your repayment at the minimum level. Just know that you are already a victim of that debt trap. Now, another thing is relying on credit to cover basic needs. Let's say you borrow for Yalata, you borrow from this, you pay them when you collect salary. At the end of the month, 100,000 is coming in. You've already have a debt of 80,000, and you still have to the month is just starting. It's another sign for you to know that you are eating towards getting into that. Getting towards that trap, that debt, that financial stagnation, that constraint. So you need to check yourself and see how you can, reverse. If it's for you to reverse. If it's for you to restructure. Another thing is feeling overwhelmed and stressed about debt. Now, constant financial worries and anxiety are signs of potential troubles. You worry too much about finances. It's good to get bothered about it because you want to have a good, proper living, a good you had a plan, a dream for yourself, and then you are not happy. You're not happy with the situation of the country, even with yourself. You will be carried away to even think of other medium to get funds, other medium to work, other medium to look beyond the environment. You're stuck into thinking, you're stuck into that picture of looking at the problem instead of you fixing or looking at what can be a solution to that problem. Now, when you're under this economic pressure, this economic uncertainty, how do you protect yourself? What are the things you can do? The first is you need to monitor your debt. If you're in debt already, struggling with debt, monitor it, look at it very well. Look at the one that the interest is increasing. Look at the one that is almost moving close to the due date, so that you can structure and see how to plan well. The second point is develop a budget and track your spending. I've been talking about that since the beginning of this year. You need to create a budget structure. There are a lot of budgeting apps online that you can use to guide yourself and track your spending. It's not like you're stingy, you're just keeping proper record. Why? Because at this moment the economy is not really really sweet and rosy that you can say, oh, you're doing all the enjoyment for yourself. This is the time you need to the shape and the size, also the length of your mind. Just use that as an adage. Is you need to prioritize your debt payments. Yes, if you're paying debt, you need to prioritize. Look at the due dates, when it's going to be due, and make sure you are certainly sure that you are paying, so that it won't look as if you missed a payment and then interest is accruing. Another point I'll share is you need to have a saving, prioritize saving, have an emergency fund. It's important. No matter how hard it's going to be, learn to save, even if it's just going to be like 8,000 daily. If you can't do daily, 1,000 weekly. If you endure to do that in a month, it's going to be something. That something can still be able to support that gas you want to feel. Can still be able to, save you in time of emergency when you don't even have anything. Now, if you don't even learn how to save at all, and a time comes when you need something, it's going to be another problem. Then also, for those that are in debt, you can also consider debt consolidation, even though looking towards debt consolidation can also have its own negative side, but also it can help, like you bringing all the debts together, then having a fund where you can, let's say you have a family member that is ready to help you pay off, then you pay the family members in a low interest, but in time cases it can increase. So you need to be sure before doing that. It's very important. And lastly, point is you need to seek guidance. Don't keep it to yourself. I say this a lot of time. Don't keep it to yourself. No, a lot of people are always shy when it comes to money matters. Yes, I get, but everybody out there has one financial issues or the other. But if you keep keeping to yourself, you don't know who can help you. It's not necessarily when they give you money that it can help. Sometimes it can just be an advice that would even push you up, that will even take you out of that financial stress, out of that financial burden, and push you into that light line that would bring in the money and make everything fine and sweet for you. So in conclusion, I understand that debt, when we talk about debt, we have the good debt and we have the bad debt. The bad debt is basically means that you're already trapped in debt. But the good debt is, you can borrow loan to run a business or to do something profitable, and you will get your gain and then you pay back. The bad debt is when you don't have every ability to pay. Now, we all understand that debt can actually be a valuable tool, when it is used responsibly. It's very important to know that. But it is very important that you take note and look at the potential pitfalls. You need to be careful. You need to look at it very well. And when you see these signs, when you notice these signs are also already coming, don't keep it to yourself. Look for a guardian that can help you, to a financial advisor basically, or a credit counselor that can help you to find a solution and come up with a personalized plan for you so that you can work out of it. Also, our dear viewers, today we come to the end of today's session. I believe you've been able to learn one or two things. Now, in case you have any questions, any suggestions, or you want to even share your own opinion, why don't you just feel free to drop them on the comment section. We'll read them and then we'll also get back to you. And if you're not following us, please do following us on our page as well. Thank you so much for joining today's session, and have a lovely weekend. Bye.